Hey everybody, how you doing? Just want to thank you guys for all the great comments and all the personal emails that you sent me about how much you liked that last episode, how much it made you laugh. So I appreciate that feedback. In this episode, I'm going to attempt to install a new filtration system in the boat and then take the boat out on the water and put it through its paces to see if the problem is solved or not. For those of you who are new to the channel, I've been experiencing a loss of power at about 2100 RPMs, and we're trying to troubleshoot, problem solve to see, is it the fuel delivery system, maybe it's the transmission or the damper plate, but one thing at a time. And so first we're going to focus on the fuel system. This boat was built in 1983. It's a British-made Moody 34 center cockpit, and as you can see, this is the original tank. It's made of mild steel, and notice the copper tubing, the fuel line. This copper fuel line goes to the original water separator. This original water separator, to me, I don't even know what, it really didn't do much good. I mean, I guess it took out some water, and to think that I've been using this boat for 2 years and have not had a decent primary filter on this boat, it's pretty amazing to me. So it's time to take this one off and get rid of it. But I'm also noticing, and you'll see as I pull it out here, that copper tubing is really rigid. It's not bendable. I'm thinking I'm going to have to remove the whole thing and make a new line all the way from the fuel tank itself. So this copper tubing needs to come out. Now, first screw right there, it's about 9/16. I'm going to unscrew it, and then the whole tube comes out. But as you'll see in a minute, I'm going to have some challenges finding a proper fitting for it. The Racor fuel filter comes with real specialized fittings, and it may be a 3/4 to a 3/8 inch barb, but it's not the kind that you can just go to the plumbing store and get. You have to order them directly from them because, as I said, they're specialized. And I kind of got introduced to the whole world of fittings and NPT, and I mean, you look at a catalog of different screws. Sometimes the screws are horizontal, sometimes they're slightly tilted. It's like a whole big thing. Those of you that are plumbers out there, I guess you know all about that. But at any rate, these fittings were special fittings, and they only make fittings that go to the male barb to attach to the fuel hose from either a 3/8 inch, a 5/8 inch, or a 1/2 inch. And so I chose the 3/8 inch. So now I have to change the fittings on the fuel tank and also into the engine itself. I also, based on a friend of mine, one of my viewers, got this bulb, and I'm attaching it into the line. This bulb will help me to bleed or prime the engine much more quickly. Okay, this is the type of fitting that I really need to replace what comes out of the fuel tank and also what goes into the engine itself, but was not able to find one. So that just leaves me with this cut-off piece of copper tubing, which is 1/4 inch tubing, and now I've got to put a 3/8 inch, and we spent hours, a buddy of mine, trying to research, trying to find the right fitting, but to no avail at this point. And so those of you who are familiar with some fittings, these may be metric, I'm not sure, might have some ideas. In the meantime, I just put some Permatex at the base of it for a seal and put 2 clamps and just screwed it as tight could be. And then I also secured it, zip ties. Well, here's the pressure gauge that comes with the Racor. So I was able to mount it with bolts, and it's very stably mounted, which was great. Here's my little workstation here. Now here's also what goes into the engine. So this is my main concern. I was pretty kind of discouraged about the whole thing. We just unable to find the right fittings with a screw on the goes in and then a hose barb that would be 3/8 inch. And this is a 1/4 inch. So again, I'm going to have to see if I can tighten it real tight and then test it, make sure it's not leaking. So after everything was assembled, and this is like a 10-second clip. It didn't take me 10 seconds to do this. It took me longer time than I want to admit. Now's the time to test it. So I'm going to turn on the fuel valve and start pumping and start priming / bleeding the engine, and we'll see how the bulb works, and we'll see if the fittings leak, and we'll see how quick it'll take me to fire up this engine. So here we go. This was kind of cool, just a couple of pumps until you just get resistance, and man, then it just started like flowing into this water separator. Now that everything's been installed, it's time to bleed the engine. And let's see if it's a little easier than the first time Amy and I bled it with this new bulb. Well, I'm glad I took the advice and the encouragement of you viewers who said that I could install this Racor fuel system, which I did. So now we're going out to actually test the RPM situation with the engine and see also if my fittings are tight and secure. That's what we're going to do next. Take it out on the river, push the throttle all the way forward. I'm here with my buddy who's going to help me, and we're going to make a final assessment on whether it's a fuel issue or it is the transmission. And you know what? Even if it turns out to be the transmission, I still consider it to be progress because I just installed a really nice fuel filtration system.